The objective of this presentation is to make students aware of the changes that have been made to the paper 1 multiple choice paper for 2027 CSEC examinations and beyond, so that they may be able to effectively answer the question given for this paper. Some of the changes of paper 1 relates to the segmentation of the different areas on the models. So you have model 1, model 2, model 3, and model 4 for English. You will still have 60 items. However, the first 16 items will be related to the grammatical errors that you would have covered with your teacher, and the bulk of the paper is actually comprehension. So you will get given various types of comprehension. You'll be getting the expository comprehension, you'll be getting the narrative comprehension, and you'll be getting the persuasive and argumentative comprehension. In addition to that, you will get a poem and an advertisement. So those are the changes that were made to the paper 2027, okay, 2027 and onwards. I trust that was helpful. Items 1 to 6 will test the student's understanding of antonyms, and the instruction reads, choose the word or phrase that is most nearly opposite in meaning to the underlined word. Mark your choice on the answer sheet. And question 1 reads, how feasible will it be for you to complete your study for it to be published? And the word underlined here is feasible. The options given are A, unfair, B, prudent, C, possible, or D, unrealistic. Question 2. Mr. Russell is a compassionate man. The word compassionate is underlined, who was well known in his community. The options given are A, fussy, B, cruel, C, benevolent, and D, dissatisfied. The third sentence read, Daviana thought that her brother was arrogant and condescending. And the word condescending is underlined, and the options given are A, superior, B, naughty, C, polish, and D, respectful. Question 4. The principal prohibited the chewing of gums in school. The word underlined here is prohibited. The options given are A, allowed, B, disliked, C, outlawed, D, encourage. Question 5. Prior to leaving Earth, the spacecraft trajectory was preset for the duration of the journey. And the word underlined here is trajectory. And the options given are A, schedule, B, pathway, C, direction, and D, deviation. Question 6. He was always apt at evading questions at interviews, and that skill was often needed to reduce conflict. And the word underlined here is apt, and the options given are A, polite, B, careless, C, unskilled, and D, convincing. Are you able to answer these questions? Let's see. Let's see how you did on this section, items 1 to 6, and the answer are as follows. Number 1, the answer is D, unrealistic, because feasible means realistic or practical, so the opposite would be unrealistic, which is D. Mr. Russell is a compassionate man, so compassionate means caring, thoughtful, benevolent, or even kind, right? So the opposite there would have been number 2, B. Number 3, Davian thought that her brother was arrogant and condescending means looking down on. So the opposite here would have been respectful. Wouldn't be superior, right? But it would be respectful in this case, okay, right? And then number 4, the answer, the principal prohibited the chewing of gum. So prohibit means not allowed or not permitted. So the opposite would be A, allowed. Number 5, prior to leaving Earth, the spacecraft trajectory was preset for the duration of the journey, and trajectory, schedule, pathway, direction. So here the opposite would be deviation, right? Which is D. And let us look at number 6. He was always apt at evading questions at interview. That skill was often needed to reduce conflict. Apt. So is it polite? No. Careless? No. C, unskilled. D, convincing. So apt there would be careless. Okay, so which should have been opposite there? Number 6 would have been B. Items 7 to 12, Model 2. The instruction reads, some of the following sentences are unacceptable because of inappropriate grammar, idioms, or vocabulary. Some sentences are acceptable as they stand. No sentence contains more than one inappropriate element. Select the one underlined part that you feel is inappropriate and choose the corresponding letter A, B, or C. If the sentence is acceptable as it stands, choose D. And the sentences read, sentence 7. The company have is underlined, and A, received the letter about the damage fund. Damage is underlined, and that's B. Purchase in November, and in is underlined, and that is C. And option D is no error. Question 8. I am writing to you because I became quite ill after consuming food from your establishment. Writing is underlined A. Became B. Consuming C, and no error. Question 9. Unfortunately, I had to replace the shocks on my vehicle, which cost me a lot of money. A, add, B, costs, and C, a lot. And of course, D is no error. Question 10. I hope that arriving at an hour like this in my house never happens again. And A is a, B is this, and C happens. And of course, D is no error. Question 11. Joseph said to Taylor, there are too many errors in your writing, so check over your work to avoid careless errors. And A is they are, and B, many, C is your, and of course D, no error. Question 12. The two robbers, not knowing the value of the loot, were unable to agree on how to divide it among themselves. And the options are A, not knowing, B, on, C, among, and D, of course, is no error. Let's see if you're able to answer these items. The answer to number 7 is A. Have should be has. Now, the word company here is a collective noun. And when the collective noun is operating as a single entity, then the verb that it requires is a singular verb. But when the collective noun is operating as individual members of the noun, then it requires a plural form in terms of verb. So the answer here is A. The company has received a letter about the damage fund purchased in November. The answer to question 8 is B. As you can see, it is a grammatical error. I am writing to you because I had become quite ill after consuming food from your establishment instead of I became. answer to question 9 is B. We have a subject and verb agreement problem here. Unfortunately, I had to replace the shocks on my vehicle, which costs should be cost instead of cost with the S, because the subject of that sentence there is shocks and not on my vehicle. We have, so the verb must always be in agreement with the subject of the sentence and not a word from the prepositional phrase. And so shocks, costs. Okay, and so the answer there is B. And the answer to number 10, question 10 is A, right? So we say in standard English an hour and not a hour, okay? So in Creole, you could say a hour, but a hour's time, right? But it's an hour, right? So phonetically, although the word begins with a consonant, the phonetics, the pronunciation is a vowel sound that is being pronounced, okay, right? So and hour and not a hour, okay? So the answer there is A. So I hope that arriving at an hour like this, right? That is the answer. The answer to question 11 is A. Students need to remember that there is a difference between THERE and THEIR and the THEY apostrophe RE. Okay, so the answer here is A. It should be there are too many errors in your writing, so check over your work to avoid careless errors. So I trust that you got that. Okay, so the answer there is A. The answer to item 12 is C, right? The sentence reads, the two robbers, not knowing the value of the loot, were unable to agree on how to divide it among themselves. So among should be between. So you use between when you're looking at two individuals, and you use among for more than two or more, you use among. So it should be between themselves. And that is it for model 2, items 7 to 12. How did you do? Share your grade in the comment section below. We are now going to be looking at equivalent sentences, and this is in items, so we're going to be testing you on items 13 to 15. The instruction reads, each sentence in this section is followed by 4 sentences, A, B, C, and D. Choose the one nearest in meaning to the original sentence. And so it is important that you read all 4 options that are given before you make your selection. So let's go. Items 13 read, according to the local experts, the factory is capable of using almost any material to produce edible oil. A says, experts believe that the factory is producing edible oil from almost any material. B says, local experts claim that the factory can use almost any material to make an edible oil. C says local experts have been able to produce edible oil in the factory from almost any material. And D says it is the view of local experts that edible oil can be extracted from almost any material in the factory. Okay, item 14 reads, although it was raining heavily, they decided to go for a hike in the mountain. Option A says, the group decided to hike another day because of the heavy rainfall. Option B says, the mountain hike could not be postponed in spite of the heavy rains. And C says, despite the heavy rains, they proceeded with the hike in the mountain. And option D says, since the rain fell heavily, the hikers chose to delay the hike in the mountains. Item 15. And item 15 reads, the mood among the striking workers is one of uncertainty rather than defiance. Option A, the defiant workers are in an uncertain mood. Option B, the strikers are in a mood of defiant uncertainty. Option C, the strikers' mood is not defiant but uncertainty. And option D, the workers were uncertain and in a defiant mood. Do you know the answer? Well, let's see. It is advisable for this section that students read all four options before selecting their answer or response because a word or a phrase can make a big difference. So let's see how well you did in this section. And the answer to item 13 is B. Local experts claim that the factory can use almost any material to make edible oil. And it is B because it expresses the same idea as the original sentence. If you got that answer, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. And the answer to item 14 is C. Despite the heavy rains, they proceeded with the hike in the mountain. And of course, it expresses the same idea or thought as the original sentence. Did you get that? If you did, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. Well done. The answer to item 15 is C. The striker's mood is not defiance, but uncertainty. Now, if you got that, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. Well done. Now we are at the section that, of course, is the bulk of paper one based on the revised syllabus. And that section is comprehension. And of course, the revised syllabus will test students' understanding and knowledge of the various forms or types of comprehension passages. Now let's see how well you will do in this area. The instructions read the following passage carefully and then answer items 16 to 22 on the basis of what is stated or implied. And the comprehension passage reads, in 2017, Hurricane Maria swept across the eastern Caribbean island of Dominica, taking lives, destroying homes, and damaging the natural landscape that sustains the tourist industry, which the 270 square mile island relies on. The storm's overall cost to Dominica was an estimated US 930 million, almost double the country's GDP. Maria went on to cause havoc in Puerto Rico, directly and indirectly, killing more than 2,900 people. It was the deadliest storm Puerto Rico and Dominica had experienced in more than a century. In recent years, the Caribbean has seen its hurricane season from June to November become more destructive. The change has been attributed to global warming due to climate change, a crisis that many have been warning for decades could have particularly devastating effect for the Caribbean. With the glaring evidence of crushed infrastructure, homes, and lives, more people seem prepared to listen and take action. But much of the increase in global temperatures seem irreversible, and the effects will get worse. What experts and activists hope for now is that temperatures won't rise to a point where they threaten the very existence of small islands like Dominica. I come to you straight from the front line of the war on climate change, said Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Sorretti in a
heartfelt appeal to the UN General Assembly shortly after Maria's passage. We as a country and as a region did not start this war against nature. We did not provoke it. The war has come to us. There is no more time for conversation. There is little time left for action. The global mean temperature GMT has been increasing rapidly following the Industrial Revolution, largely due to carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases generated by humans' use of fossil fuels. By 2030, it is predicted to increase by 1 degree Celsius over what it was in 1880. The repercussions of that are already being felt. Among them, stronger storms, rising sea levels that cause coastal erosion, droughts that reduce the water supply and crop yields, and the acidification of the ocean, killing coral reefs, which are habitats for fish and major tourist attractions. Beyond 2030, the GMT is inevitably going to increase by at least 1.5 degrees Celsius, and the international bodies and scientists are racing against time to keep it there through various efforts called mitigation to reduce the production of greenhouse gases. In the landmark 2015 Paris Agreement, 197 countries agreed to do all they could to keep global warming well below 2 degrees Celsius and to regularly report their progress. But countries not only have to work on mitigation, they have to pursue adaptations that make them less vulnerable to the effects of global warming. These adaptations are particularly important for small, poor, sea-dependent countries. Extract from Andrew E. 2019, September 1. The Climate Change Countdown. Green Caribbean Beat Magazine. Let's turn our attention to questions 16 to 22. And question 16 reads, according to lines 1 to 5, Hurricane Maria, 1, devastated the island of Dominica and Puerto Rico. 2, negatively impacted the tourist industry of Dominica. 3, wreaked havoc on the natural resources of the Caribbean. Is the answer A, 1 and 2, B, 1 and 3, C, 2 and 3 only, or D, 1, 2 and 3? Question 17. The expression from the front lines of the war on climate change, lines 14 to 15, is an example of, is it A, allusion, B, metaphor, C, hyperbole, or D, personification? Item 18. Which of the following best describe Prime Minister Surratt's tone in his address to the UN? Is it A, concern, B, sarcastic, C, agitated, or D, arrogant? Question 19. The main idea of the passage is to A, the effects of hurricane on Dominica, B, natural disasters are impacting the planet, C, small, poor, sea-dependent countries are fighting to survive, or D, environmental and economic impact of climate change on small islands. Question 20. Which of the following is most evident in the passage? Is it A, Prime Minister Surratt started a war? B, the hurricane season is dangerous to all countries? C, some effects of global warming cannot be reversed? D, The UN is trying to educate countries about global warming. Question 21. Which of the following does not contribute to the credibility of the article? Is it A, the use of facts and statistics, B, quotes from the UN, the United Nations, C, the use of direct personal appeal, or D, extract from the Prime Minister's speech? Question 22. According to the passage, it can be concluded that global mean temperature, that is a GMT, is rising because, is it A, carbon dioxide, natural disasters, and global warming? Or is it B, industrialization, greenhouse gases, and carbon dioxide? Or C, hurricanes, carbon dioxide, and global warming? Or is it D, greenhouse gases and carbon dioxide? Do you know the answer to these questions? Let's see. The answer to question 16 is A, 1 and 2. Did you get that? I trust that you did. The answer to item 17 is B. The expression is a metaphor. I trust that you got that one. The answer to item 18 is A, concern. So the Prime Minister's tone was one of concern. If you got that, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. Well done. The answer to question 19 is D. The main idea of this passage is to highlight the environmental and economic impact of climate change on small islands. If you got that, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. Well done. And the answer to question 20 is C. Some effects of global warming cannot be reversed. I trust that you got that one. If you did, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. Well done. And the answer to item 21 is C. Which of the following does not contribute to the credibility of the article? And that is C, the use of direct personal appeal. Okay, if you got that, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. Well done. And the answer to question 22 is D, greenhouse gases and carbon dioxide. I trust that you did well on this area of the sample specimen paper. Share how you did on the comprehensions section, right? So in the comprehension section, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions. So state how many of those 7 you got correct. Okay, remember that I said earlier, the comprehension takes up the bulk of the paper. So this is just one type of comprehension. We are going to see others as the paper progresses. Now we are going to be looking at an illustration, and there is going to be several questions on this illustration. Items 23 to 30, the instruction reads, study the following illustration carefully and then answer items 23 to 30. Find your balance. So you see an intake and then you will see an output, and then you have weight gain. Then you have the intake and then the output, and then you have under that, you have maintenance. Then you have the intake and then the output is on the other side, and then you have fat loss. Below that, you have balancing calorie, intake, and output. So the intake, there is, of course, a plate setting, and you have knife and fork, and of course, a spoon. Then for the output, you have the cycling. Okay, and it says a message from the Department of Healthy Living, walking on our healthy journey together. And so what the question will do is test your analytical skill. So you have to look at the information, the illustration given carefully, as they say, and you will be required to, based on your analysis, answer several questions. Okay? Question 23 reads, which of the following combination is the best example of what is required to as output in the illustration? Is it A, running, swimming, yoga, B, jumping, rope, dancing, sitting, or C, cycling, watching a movie, kickboxing, or D, walking, talking with friends, reading a book? Question 24. This information is most likely found in, is it A, an airport, B, an health magazine, C, a fast food restaurant, D, a staff room notice board? Question 25. The use of the scales in the illustration is effective because it communicates the, is it A, importance of weighing daily, B, importance of exercising daily, C, uneven balance necessary for weight loss, or D, the use of balance to achieve a healthy lifestyle? Question 26. A person who falls into the weight gain category most likely, is it A, does a lot of cycling and a low calorie diet, B, does equivalent food consumption and exercise, C, has less food consumption with more exercise, or is it D, as reduced exercise with higher food intake? Question 27. The Department of Healthy Living is most likely a, is it A, health club, B, government agency, C, sector of a fast food company, or D, non-governmental organization, NGO? Question 28. The expression walking on our journey together is an example of A, a motto, B, call to action, C, health advice, D, rhetorical statement. Question 29. The title of the graphic, Find Your Balance, suggests that A, each person can choose to be in any of the three categories. B, obese persons should have high intake and low output. C, economic balance is critical to a healthy diet and lifestyle. D, individuals should have an equal intake and output of food and exercise. Question 30. To best interpret the message of the illustration, one must pay attention to the A, title given to the information, B, key that defines the intake and output, C, caption that identifies the creators of the illustration, or is it D, grayscale layout that does not distract from the information? Do you know the answer to these questions? The answer to question 23 is A, which is running, swimming, yoga. All are forms of exercise. And of course, B says, no, C says cycling, but of course, and that is a form of exercise, but the others are not. The other one, which is watching a movie, and kickboxing is a form of exercise, but watching a movie is out. So, by way of elimination, the process of elimination, we will choose option A as the answer, okay? 24, the answer is B, right? And we all see why that is the answer. A health magazine, right? So the option there is B. Go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders if you got that correct. And the answer to question 25 is option D, the need for balance to achieve a healthy lifestyle. Okay, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders if you got that one correct. And the answer to question 26 is D, right? Has reduced exercise with higher food intake. And if you analyze the illustration that was given, you would have come to that conclusion. All right, okay. So go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders again if you got that correct. Well done. The answer to question 27 is B. The Department of Healthy Living is most likely a government agency. And if you got that correct, go ahead and pat yourselves on the shoulder. And the answer to question 28 is B. The expression walking on our journey together is an example of a call to action. So the answer is B. If you got that correct, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. The answer to question 29 is A. Each person can choose to be in any of the three categories. If you got that correct, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. Well done. And the answer to question 30 is B. To best interpret the message of the illustration, one must pay attention to the key that defines the intake and the output. If you got that correct, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. Well done.
Items 31-38. Instructions. Read the following poem carefully and then answer items 31-38. Last love. The first, flower of the spring, is not so fair or bright as one the ripe midsummer brings. The first, faint. Note, the forest warbler sings, is not as rich with feeling or so rare, as when full master of his art the air, drowns in the liquid sea of song he flings. Like silver spray from beak and breast and wings, the artist's earliest effort wrought. With care the bard's first ballad, written in his tears, set by his later toil, seems poor and tame, and into nothing dwindles at the test. So with the passions of mature years, let those who will demand the first fond flame give me the heart's last love, for that is best. Source: https://kitapoetry.com/ella-wheeler-wlcox/poems/last-love/ One warbler. Small songbird that sings in trilling or quavering voice.
31 reads, the poem Last Love is mainly about is it A, significance of love, B, beauty and richness of love, C, fleeting nature of youthful love compared to mature love, or is it D, feelings of frustrations that are accompanied by being in love? Question 32. The effect of the comparison of the wobbler's first faint note, line 3, with his latter full master of his art, line 5, is to emphasize 1. Wisdom, 2. Adulthood, 3. Sophistication. Is it A, 1 and 2, B, 1 and 3, C, 2 and 3, or D, 1, 2 and 3? Question 33. The significance of the phrase liquid sea of song, line 6, is that it A, symbolizes the bird's mastery of its art, B, represents the vastness of nature's beauty, C, illustrates the smoothness of the bird's melody, or D, suggests the depth of the bird's emotional expression. Question 34. In the third stanza, the poet suggests that the artist's earliest efforts compared to his latter works are A, more vivid, B, less refined, C, more passionate, or D, less experimental. Question 35. The impression created by the poet's use of the word maturer, line 12, is that the speaker A, accepts that age and love brings maturity, B, refers prefers love without the passion of youth. C, believes that young people cannot portray true love. Or D, values the depth and wisdom that comes with experience. Question 36. Which of the following figurative devices is used in the first fun flame? Line 30. Is it A, metaphor, B, hyperbole, C, alliteration, or D, personification? Question 37. What technique does the writer employ to illustrate the message in the poem? Is it A, cause and effect, B, problem and solution, C, compare and contrast, or D, advantages and disadvantages? Question 38. The overall tone of the poem is one of, is it A, nostalgic or nostalgia, B, contentment, C, appreciation, or D, disillusionment? Are you able to answer these questions? The answer to question 31 is C. The poet's last love is mainly about the fleeting nature of youthful love compared with or compared to mature love. Okay, so the answer is C. The answer to question 32 is D, 1, 2, and 3. If you got that, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulder. Question 33 is C, illustrates the smoothness of the bird's melody. The answer to question 34 is B. Did you get that? If you did, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. We're coming down nicely. Isn't that so? Answer to question 35 is D. Did you get that? If you did, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. Well done. The answer to question 36 is C, alliteration. I trust that you got that one. The answer to question 37 is C, compare and contrast. If you got that, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. And the answer to question 38 is B, contentment. The overall tone of the poem is one of contentment. Okay? All right. Share how much you got in this section, in the comments section. God bless you. We're coming down nicely. We're at 38 and we're moving to the next comprehension passage. On to our second comprehension passage. As I mentioned earlier, that the bulk of the paper consists of comprehension passages. And so we're at items 39 to 45. And the instruction reads, read the following passage carefully and then answer items 39 to 45 on the basis of what is stated or implied. And the passage reads, about an hour later, Christopher heard movement in the yard below. It sounded as if someone had brought back the ladder and was propping it against the wall. The workmen, they were going to clean the tank after all. The point was, should he wait for them to come up and find him, or should he go to meet them? Perhaps it would be better if he did something, pretended to be enjoying himself, so that they wouldn't think that he was worried or penitent. He quickly installed himself on the edge of the roof, dangled his feet in the water, and splashed vigorously. A head appeared over the edge of the parapet. It was Donald's. Christopher was so surprised that he forgot to splash. Donald certainly wouldn't be coming to clean the tank. You got to come down now, Master Chris, Donald said. Christopher gaped at him. How did you know I was here? Donald did not look at him. The master told me to fetch you down, that's all. Christopher's heart sank. He did not bother to ask how his father had known. He just followed Donald down the ladder. I suppose he said, when they reach the bottom, he wants to see me. In the office, Master Chris. As he turned away, Donald gave him a playful slap on the behind. Christopher did not know whether it was affection or warning, but he ignored it. Head down, he went upstairs to his father's office. Raphael Stevens did not look up when Christopher appeared in the doorway. He seemed to be adding a column of figures. Christopher hesitated. Perhaps it was all part of the punishment. He, however, was anxious to get the business over and done with. Donald says you want me, he said. Raphael Stevens did not turn. Yes, he drawled absent-mindedly. Did you enjoy yourself on the roof, Christopher? Christopher was familiar with the technique. It was the way bullies played with the mouse. He did not bother to answer. You must be careful next time not to walk in the gutters. They are not very strong, you know. Besides, you can be heard in the rooms below. A sudden thought struck Christopher. Listlessness fell away as anger rushed into his cheeks. Taken from Godfrey Drayton Christopher in West Indian narratives. Okay, I can hear the tiredness in my voice and my throat. Yeah, I have the dry cough. But let's proceed. And we're looking at items 39. Okay, and so we're going to be looking at the questions now. Question 39 reads, based on the details at the beginning of the passage, what significant event took place earlier? Is it A, the workmen decided to clean the tanks that day? B, Christopher had been having fun playing on the roof? C, the ladder Christopher used to climb the roof was removed? D, Christopher heard sounds coming from the yard below the roof. Question 40. The impression Christopher was trying to give when he dangled his feet in the water and splashed vigorously, line 6, was that he was A, having a good time alone on the roof, B, not worried, but was having fun on the roof, C, not concerned that he was found on the roof, D, surprised that it took so long to find him on the roof. Question 41. Donald referred to Christopher as Master Chris to A, indicate that he fears him, B, to highlight respect for his social position, C, demonstrate their history as master and slave, D, show the different class distinction between them. Question 42. What device is used in the expression Christopher's heart sank? Line 12. Is it A, simile, B, metaphor, C, hyperbole, or D, personification? Question 43. The most likely reason that Christopher hesitated to enter his father's office is that he was A, anxious and angry, B, fearful and uncertain, C, respectful but resentful, D, mannerly but frustrated. Question 44. Based on the interaction between father and son, the relationship between them can best be described as A, tolerant and kind, B, rebellious and rude, C, playful and friendly, or D, respectful and cautious. Question 45. Christopher's feelings from the beginning of the passage to the end changes from, is it A, cheerful to upset, B, restless to gloomy, C, playful to hopeless, or D, uncertain to furious? Are you able to answer these questions? The answer to question 39 is C. The ladder Christopher used to climb the roof was removed. The answer to question 40 is B. Not worried, but having fun on the roof. Did you get that? Go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders if you did. The answer to question 41 is B. Highlight the respect for his social position. The answer to question 42 is D. Personification. Christopher's heart sank. Personification, D. If you got that correct, go ahead
and pat yourself on the shoulders. The answer to question 43 is B, fearful and uncertain. If you got that, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. Well done. The answer to question 44 is D, respectful and cautious. If you And the answer to question 45 is D, option D, uncertain to furious. If you got that, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. Well done. We are at our final comprehension passage, right? So this is our third comprehension passage for this paper one. And we're looking at items 46 to 55. And the instruction reads, read the following passage carefully and then answer items 46 to 53 on the basis of what is stated or implied. And it reads, I am honored and grateful for the invitation today. It's always great to be on the Penn campus. I had to come, even though I was afraid I might make a fool of myself. In fact, I had to come exactly because I might make a fool of myself. What am I talking about? Well, here it is. I have found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risk. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, there is no passion to be found playing small. In settling for a life that's less than the one you are capable of living. I'm sure in your experiences, people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. But I have never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I am going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything except my fate. I want to fall forward. At least I figure that way I will see what I'm about to hit. Fall forward. Here's what I mean. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't either, because 1001 was the light bulb. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You have got to take risks. And I'm sure you have probably heard that before, but I want to talk about why it's so important. First, you will fail at something, some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. There is no doubt about it. That's probably not a traditional message for a graduation ceremony. But hey, I'm telling you, embrace it because it's inevitable. But I should know in the acting business, you fail all the time. Early in my career, I auditioned for a part in Broadway musical. A perfect role for me, I thought, except for the fact that I can't sing. After the first verse, the director cut me off. Thank you very much. You will be hearing from me. The next part of the audition is the acting part. I figured I can't sing, but I know I can act. But the guy I was paired with do the scene couldn't be more over dramatic and over the top. Suffice to say, I didn't get the part. But here's the thing, I didn't quit. I didn't fall back. I walked out of there to prepare for the next audition and the next audition and the next one. I prayed and I prayed, but I continued to fail and I failed and I failed. Last year I did a play called Fences on Broadway, and I won a Tony Award. And here's the kicker, it was at the Court Theater, the same theater
where I failed my first audition 30 years prior. The point is, every graduate here today has the training and the talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail? Adopted from Penn State University commencement address. Okay, so we're now going to look at the question because, you know, I'm a bit exhausted, but we're going to look at the question items 46 to 50. Now read questions 46 to 53. And question 46 reads, what was the occasion for the speech? Is it a guest lecture, B, motivational talk, C, an award ceremony, or D, university graduation? Question 47. When the speaker says that he had to come exactly because I might make a fool of myself, lines 22 to 3, he suggests that he, A, welcomed the opportunity to be a fool, B, is willing to take the risk to be foolish, C, almost always makes himself look foolish, D, would enjoy making a fool of himself. Question 48. The speaker refers to Nelson Mandela, Reggie Jackson, and Thomas Edison to A, support his argument that perseverance is necessary for success, B, make his opinion seem to be widespread and reasonable, C, compare his ideas about risk to the action of successful people, or D, show that failure is inevitable in life. 49. The literary device used in the phrase fall back on is an example of A, irony, B, idiom, C, metaphor, or D, juxtapositioning. Juxtaposition. Question 50. The word audition, line 20, as used in the extract mean A, tryout, B, probation, C, interview, or D, practice run. Question 51. The purpose of the question, do you have the guts to fail? Lines 30 to 31 is most likely to A, encourage the audience to avoid failure, B, appeal to the audience to accept failure, C, challenge the audience to risk failing, D, warn the audience that failing is painful. Question 52. Which of the following adds the most credibility to the speaker's presentation? Is it A, choice of venue, B, use of visual aid, C, reputation of the speaker, or D, the topic of the presentation? Question 53. The effect of the conversational tone used by the speaker is to A, create a formal setting, B, develop a humorous atmosphere, C, distance himself from the listeners, or D, establish a relationship with the audience. Do you know the answer to these questions? Let's see. Question 46 answer is D, a university graduation. If you got that, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. Answer to question 47 is B, is willing to take the risk to be foolish. The answer to question 48 is A, support his argument that perseverance is necessary for success. Question 49 they have here as A. However, I think B could go because it's an idiom. Fall back on is an idiomatic expression. So I would go with B, but we'll consult CXE. But they have A here, irony. But we could go with B because fall back on, but I guess it could be used ironically in terms of, it's not a verbal irony. It's more of a situational irony. But of course, I think the answer here is B. But CXC specimen paper says A.
but it's an idiom. It's an idiomatic expression in that the words literally doesn't denote, or should I say connote, denotes its meaning, right? Fall back on is used as an idiomatic expression. I mean, that's something that you can, do if something else doesn't work out. It is there, right? So can put it 49, and you can consult your teachers as well. Okay, share your thoughts in the comment section whether you believe 49, question 49 is A or B. Question 50, the answer is A, most definitely, right? So audition, that means a tryout. So A is the answer there. Answer for question 51 is C. It is not to encourage the audience to avoid failure, but to really challenge the audience to risk failing, because once you fail, you can learn from your mistake. Okay, and failure is not the end. Okay, you can use it as a stepping stone in order to achieve or to fulfill your purpose. Okay, so that was what the extract was about, the comprehension was about. So the answer there is C. Answer for 52 is C, right? The reputation of the speaker, because you're more inclined to listen to someone when they have achieved and when they're viewed as positive role models, when their reputation is intact. So the answer there is C. So you could have used your own personal experiences as well as the information from the extract to arrive at that answer, which is C. The answer for question 53 is D, to establish a relationship with the audience. I trust that you did well in this section. We are now at our final section, which is advertisement, and we're going to be looking at items 54 to 60, and the instruction reads, read the following advertisement carefully and then answer items 54 to 60. Are you always busy? Is your schedule hectic? Do you sometimes forget to take time to eat? If you answer yes to any of these questions, then you need quick eats. Healthy eating that fits your daily routine. Vacuum sealed meals for people on the go, nutritious, low sugar, low fat, well balanced meal in a convenient pouch. They don't spoil. Are you in the mood for a hot meal, or do you prefer a cold dish instead? Hot or cold, quick eats are delicious, and the tantalizing aroma will have you believing you are eating a home-cooked meal. A variety of meal is already available at leading grocery stores in your area. Try our red hot quick eats. Heat in the microwave for 3 minutes. Chew with garden vegetables, barbecue chicken and rice, creamy ham and noodles. Choose one of our cool blue quick eats. Refrigerate for extra coolness if desired. Yogurt with dry fruits and nuts, vegetables and pasta salad, tuna salad and all wheat crackers. Quick eats are reasonably priced and ready to eat. Take the coupon below to a participating store to receive a free red hot or cold blue container that will fit neatly in your backpack, briefcase, or shoulder bag. And keep your quick eats meal hot or cold until you're ready to eat it. Each container holds up to 4 quick eats. If you have questions or suggestions, please contact our national office, Eva Inc., PO Box 90210, Lynette, LexNet, VA, or call 1-999-293-3151. One free container for quick eats with the purchase of one quick eats meal. Okay, we're going to be looking. Question 54 reads, to which of the following groups would this advertisement most appeal? A, elderly folks, B, school children, C, working people, or D, health conscious individuals? Question 55. The word tantalizing suggests that the aroma of quick eats will A, attract, B, satisfy, C, confuse, or D, discourage. Question 56. Which of the following is not a fact about quick eats? A, they do not spoil. B, packaged in a convenient pouch. C, available at leading grocery stores. D, they must be eaten for 3 minutes. Question 57. Which of the following literary device is used in the advertisement? Is it A, rhetorical question, B, onomatopoeia, C, hyperbole, or D, metaphor? Question 58. The intended effect of the use of the bold and capital letter in the advertisement is to A, highlight their importance, B, enhance the advertisement, C, capture the reader's attention, or D, divert attention from other words. 59. Question 59. Which of the following would most likely convince the average consumer to purchase quick eats? Is it A, reasonably priced, B, fits neatly in your bag, C, a free coupon to receive a container, D, its availability at leading grocery store? And lastly, question 60. Which of the following persuasive technique is used in the advertisement? Is it A, emotional appeal, B, snob appeal, C, one bandwagon, or D, testimonial? All right, now let's see if you can answer these questions. The answer to question 54 is C, working people. If you got that, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. We're coming down nicely. The answer to question 55 is A, attract. On question 56, the answer is D. They must be eaten for 3 minutes. That is out, okay, not in the advertisement, not implied or not stated any at all. Okay. The answer to question 57 is A, rhetorical question. Just that you got that. The answer to question 58 is C, right? Attract or capture the reader's attention. Answer to question 59 is A, reasonably priced. Finally, question 60, the answer is A. So we have come to the end of this presentation. I trust it has been beneficial to you. If it has, remember to like, share, tell a friend, and most definitely subscribe. God bless you.
Journey long, don't give up one pedal. Oh, some of them are dirty up one letter. Don't let them kill your dream. Don't make them tell them nothing kill your brain. Continue wait, continue work, until you make. Until you make it, that's so them know your brain.